That is not good timing.
Terrible timing. That was as it hit zero too. That was
Yeah.
funny. Um, well, as we let people file in here, obviously, um, I am excited for this card because this is, I would say, a card for the casuals. There's definitely a lot of name recognition, a lot of fights that I personally actually know. So that's exciting for somebody like me who doesn't pay as close attention like you. I know we talked about it last time where I'm the voice of the casuals. So this is a card for us this time. I am live with Narco Cup, DCTV. Boom. Amazing. What's going on, everybody? Guys, drop some plays in the chat. Anything you want Narco Cup to go over for this weekend, anything you want us to cover, drop it in the chat and we will get to it. We're going to go through the entire main card today. And as we let some people in, I will give you guys some more info about what we're going to talk about. There we go. Okay. Before I intro you, let me drop the free trial promo underneath because I think after I intro you, there's a chance that some people will want to sign on because you have a ton of history and it's all tracked third party. So let me get this free trial for anybody who's in here. Free trial, free all the way through the weekend. UFC 309, 5-day free trial. Let me get this in there. Boom, narco free. I gotta automate some of this process. Although it's good to let people come in the chat.
Yeah.
We give it a little bit of time.
Yeah. If they have any questions, shoot them out.
Yep.
I'll answer them if I can.
I have a feeling you'll be able to answer most of those questions. Get Narco Cup plays free. Tweet didn't send.
I see it.
Can you see it on your end?
Yeah.
What the heck?
The DubClub win one?
Yeah, the first reply right underneath where it says get your place free.
Yeah. It's there.
What the heck? It's not showing up for me.
I see it.
All right.
Oh, you deleted it. That's why. It says this
It
post has been
deleted?
deleted. Yeah.
It's so weird. It said it didn't even send for me. All right, I'm gonna do this on
It's
my
sent and
laptop
then
real
it
quick
says
then.
deleted.
Come on, Twitter. Figure it out here for me. Guys, I appreciate everybody patiently waiting. We are about to get into this fantastic UFC card for Saturday. And any analysis beyond this point is all in Narco Cop's DubClub, which you can get access to for free in about 2 seconds. Boom. There it should be. All right. Well, now that I have crossed my T's, dotted my I's, it is my pleasure to welcome on the one and only Narco Cop MMA. This man has been publicly tracked as an MMA bettor for the last 4 years. And as of a couple weeks ago, last time we talked, he was up 237 units, all publicly tracked, sitting at 6% ROI. The man has been handicapping and watching MMA for a very long time, much longer than probably anybody else in here, and to a level of detail that is very impressive. If you saw him on here last time, you would know this. I'm really excited to get into it, Mike. How are we doing today?
Good. How are you, man? Appreciate you having me. Welcome to everybody in chat. Yeah, let's go over this UFC 309 card. Some big names, 12 fight card. So I'm looking forward to it. We've had last week's card was pretty messy. So yeah, we have a big card here. I have some bets already. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Amazing. Well, as everybody knows, we start with the prelims and then we move into the main card. He's only got one play in the prelims that we're really going to talk about, and then we'll get right into the main card. But the one that you messaged me said you were looking at was Chavez and Elliott. Elliott is the favorite on FanDuel right now, sitting at minus 230 on the money line. What do you got for me in this one?
Yeah, I mean, interesting matchup. Oban Elliott, he comes from the Cage Warriors promotion, which is out there in Europe and England. And the guy's a two-fight veteran in the UFC, right? He has two fights in there. He beat a guy in Val Woodburn, who, quite honestly, is not a UFC level fighter. He's athletic, he's powerful, is Val Woodburn, but technique-wise, wrestling, all this other stuff, he just doesn't have it. He's just an athlete, not UFC ready, very, very green. And in that fight, he got hurt in that fight. He got dropped. Oban Elliott did as a big favorite. He came on. He won the fight via grappling for the most part. He was the better striker. He's the better grappler overall, and that's why he was a huge favorite. But it was a little bit disappointing seeing him getting dropped. He was at one point taken down. At one point, he had almost his back taken by a guy that's very green, a guy that shouldn't be doing that to you. Subsequently, in the next fight, he fights a guy like Preston Parsons, who's a UFC veteran, and he's a plus 160 underdog now. He goes out there and he looks great. He looks great. He stuffs the takedowns. He looks good on the feet. He pretty much dominates the fight, right? And he looks really good there. And now fast forward to this fight, and all of a sudden, this guy's a minus 230 favorite. So the market is been very confused with this guy, if I should say, right? Last time, pretty big underdog. He wins. First time, big favorite. He wins, but he doesn't look good covering that big number. And now all of a sudden, he's again a big favorite against probably his toughest test. And Basel Hafez. Basel Hafez, not the best striker. He's not very technical when it comes to striking. He's okay. He's not terrible, but he has a ton of power in his hands. He throws with a lot of ill intent. He hurts a lot of the guys he's fought. And this is a guy that came into the UFC on short notice against Jack Della Maddalena, who's a top 10 fighter in this division. Came on very short notice. He was a huge underdog, plus 420. And he ended up losing by split decision. A lot of people thought he won the fight. Right? Fast forward to his last fight, and it's Mickey Gall. And now against Mickey Gall, he's a big favorite. He's a minus 425 favorite, right? He wins 30-27, but he doesn't look good doing it. Like, he looks fine. It just doesn't cover that price tag because it was pretty competitive. Now, all of a sudden, he's a plus 210 dog. So what I'm trying to get at is the market is there's a lot of recency bias in this line here. And you could see the shifts in these lines, what they're doing, right? One fight he looks great, he loses, boom, he's a huge favorite. Now he's a huge dog because he didn't look great winning. And the same exact thing happened with the other guy, right? So what I think is the market's overreacting to these last couple of fights for both guys. I think this fight is a lot closer than the line indicates. Hafez has great jiu-jitsu, is very powerful, has good cardio, can grapple, he can wrestle, and his striking is not bad. I do lean on Oban Elliott for the striking. I think he's the cleaner striker, but the hardware edge belongs to Hafez. In that, when I say hardware edge, I mean durability, I mean power. All those things favor Basel Hafez here. I think he can get the fight to the ground at some point. And if he gets on top, he's a very, very good grappler in jiu-jitsu. So I just think the line is way too big, man. I think maybe Oban Elliott minus 150 makes sense. Oban Elliott minus 230 doesn't make sense. I'm going to take a shot here on Hafez. He's plus 210 now, 205 area. I think it's really good. Dogs have been absolutely getting killed. 33-3 are the favorites in the last 3 UFC cards. Historically, dogs win at about 35% clip in the UFC. So you could see what a huge uh, winning percentage these favorites have lately.
Yeah.
And I think that's partially why the casuals are betting favorites right now. They're
Yeah.
literally steaming these lines. And
Yeah.
eventually, it's gonna blow up. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be this week, but I like Hafez here at plus 205, 210.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. You just kind of touched on it, but when you're seeing heavy favorites winning at a clip like that, which is crazy in any sport that the favorites are hitting at that rate, um, when do you decide to swing the pendulum and say, okay, it feels like the market is going to correct itself? Like you're kind of leaning into it being this week potentially, another card moving forward, but feels like you are leaning into it being now. What indicators do you look at as this is the time the pendulum swings? This is when favorites creep up, or is it more just guess and check and pick your spots?
It's more about me taping the fights and seeing where this recency bias is hitting, where it's coming from, why the lines are getting so big. And you could see the last couple of weeks, favorites have just been steaming like crazy. And I think it's been a totality of the whole year. It's not only the last 3 weeks. Favorites have been on a very good run this year, and it is what it is. It's been almost this whole year. So the more they win, I feel like the more the public jumps on the bandwagon, right, and keeps pressing and betting them, which I think the line keeps moving up. I just look for value, and I just when
Yeah.
I watch tape on both these guys, I don't understand why one guy is minus 250. I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. You would have priced it closer to a pick 'em, or you're saying minus 150 is a
150
fairer.
is fine because he's the better
Yeah.
striker. He can grapple some, that it's fine.
Right.
I don't see why it's upwards of, almost 230, 250 in some areas. I
Yeah.
don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've seen a little bit of line movement on Chavez to plus 176 on FanDuel now. So I mean, that's why you subscribe to a guy like Narco Cop, because I'm sure there's some CLV there. I'm sure he sent this play out. I'm sure he's already grabbed some of that value. You were saying you got it, a little bit over plus 200, plus 210, whatever you said, and it's already moving down. So that's why you get your plays in early. That's why you subscribe to a guy like Narco Cop who watches the tape and finds value like this before it moves and before the public becomes a little bit more aware. Anything else on this fight before you want to get to the main card? I know we got some chats in here, people asking for the main card, but want to make sure we
No,
don't leave any meat on the bone there.
no,
Awesome.
that's it on that fight. I pretty much went over everything. I feel
Yeah.
like it's going to be a close fight. And in a close fight, you want the big underdog.
Right. Always. Always. And so, I'm sure I'll ask this question again or some form of it, but when you look at fighting styles like that, do you look at win methods at all? Do you, if you like the favorite here, if you like Elliott for casual bettors like me, do you take him to win by knockout, or do you take, if you like the underdog, you want to get a little bit better odds, you take him by submission? Is that a fight here where you apply that at all, or is it too close to call?
I definitely do look at it in some fights. In this fight, not so much because both guys are pretty damn durable. Elliott does get hurt a lot. He's been knocked out
Okay.
twice. Hafez does hit very hard, but I'm not going with the KO route just because the money line's already good enough for me. And on
Yeah.
the other side,
Yep.
Elliott hits hard, but Hafez has never been finished. He's got an insanely good chin. Jack Della Maddalena, who hits very hard, landed like everything in the kitchen sink on this guy, and he took it all. So this
Yeah.
guy's very hard to finish. I don't think that's another reason why I think there's value, because I think this fight, if it hits the scorecards, it's going to be close. And I think the guy with more finishing equity in this fight, believe it or not, is the underdog.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. This is one of those fights on the prelim that some people may ignore, but this is why you watch the tape. This is why you listen to a guy like Narco Cop, who actually knows what's going on and isn't just looking at the title fight or the main card and throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. Okay, let me get my FanDuel going here. For some reason, it's not loading. Okay. Amazing. Come on, FanDuel. I'm giving you free shout outs. The best you could do is make sure you
FanDuel, they're
load
not
for me
loading for
here.
you, huh?
Yeah, no, they're scared. They must be in the chat right now. They see all this value you're giving out. Okay. Alrighty. Boom. Okay. Guys, if you weren't on the stream last time, couple of notes here. One of them being I'm obviously going to mispronounce these names. Please make fun of me in the chat. Give me all the crap you want. It is what it is. I'm gonna butcher them, but that I identify with most of you in the chat right now as a casual. I love the UFC, or I like the UFC. I don't love the UFC, like Narco Cop here, but I do enjoy it. And one thing I enjoy universally is getting some winning bets. And quick plug, obviously, Narco Cops DubClub is free right underneath this tweet. It's a 5-day free trial, free through the weekend. You get all of his plays that are already out, all of his plays for the weekend. You get access to the Discord where we talked about it last time, but it's a pretty eventful day on fight night. There's live betting, there's community chat, people sweating bets together, people throwing plays together within the chat. It's just a really fun time. Before we get into the main card, could you tell the people a little bit more about that experience and why they should sign up for this trial?
Yeah, I mean, the Discord is honestly one of the biggest things to get into here in my community. We do a lot of live betting. What I do is I put on a stream. I pretty much commentate what I'm seeing. And then while the fight's going and I have people calling out lines and I say, okay, that's a good line. Hit it at this point. And we crush live betting, man. I can't tell you, like last time we talked, I want to say we were over 30 some percentage ROI in live betting. It's been absolutely crazy. Live betting UFC. So it's very, very profitable. If you don't do it, I suggest you do it. I suggest you get multiple accounts and live bet UFC because it's very profitable if you know what you're looking at. And if you need help, get in my Discord and get in our live betting spaces. And yeah, we talk about the fights while the fights are going on, what we should be betting. I have anywhere from 150 to 200 live people in there every weekend. So it's a great time, and we win money.
More money and great vibes. I think that is the formula for an incredible fight night, and especially a fight like this where there's so much lore, so much story around a lot of these fighters. It's just going to be a fantastic night to be in a place like that. So it's free, guys. Right underneath the tweet, 5-day free trial all the way through the weekend. Go sign up. Let's get into the main card. This is what the people want to hear. So here we can already start with a butcher. We're looking at a lightweight fight here. We've got Long Top and Ruffy. Correct me.
Yeah,
Am I
Illian
on?
Top against Roofy. You're fine.
Okay. All right. Close enough there. Ruffy is the minus 750 favorite as of now. That's on the UFC site. I don't know if
He's up to
that is
900.
matching on FanDuel. Okay. Yeah. So it's even more so at this point. What are you looking at this one?
Yeah, I mean, so Mauricio Rufi is a guy from a camp called the Fighting Nerds. They're in Brazil. One of their main guys, Caio Bahaio. He's one of the top guys at the middleweight division. He kind of brought the limelight to them, right? The Fighting Nerds. Everybody loved them because they wear these nerdy glasses in the cage. It's just one of their things, right? But these guys have been extremely, extremely hot in the UFC. Winning nonstop. All their fighters, just keep winning and winning and winning in the UFC. And the market has really been siding with them. The lines are blowing up like crazy. You could see this guy, Mauricio Rufi, he's only got one fight in the UFC. And he's a minus 900 favorite all of a sudden now. And it's, again, there is recency bias here. This guy, it's the first time he fought at 55 last time. Originally he was always fighting at 170. Now he's a 55er. He looks in great shape. He knocked out Jamie Malarkey, who I want to say it in a nice way, but the guy's just been hurt and knocked out by many people, right? Like, he doesn't have a good chin. So I wasn't surprised to see him knock out Jamie Malarkey. The fight before that, though, Dana White's Contender Series, that's the fight that made him get into the UFC, right? He's down 2-0 on 2 scorecards in that fight, going into round 3. The other guy, Dagestani guy gets tired in round 3, very bad, fails a takedown attempt, ends up on bottom. Eventually, this guy finishes him with 15 seconds remaining. So technically, this guy was 15 seconds away from not being in the UFC, right? All of a sudden now, he's 2 fights in and he's minus 900 in the UFC. Now he's fighting a guy in James Iliantop who also made his way through the Contender Series. He's been in the UFC for 2 fights. Last time out, honestly, split decision loss, close fight against Borishev, who's a UFC veteran, who's an extremely good striker. He's a very, very good kickboxer, high-level K1 kickboxer. And the fight was stand-up for 15 minutes. Very close fight. Iliantop fought tooth and nail in that fight. He lost the fight, in my opinion, but very, very close fight, like I mentioned. Fight before that, he fights a late replacement in Chris Padilla, winning the fight, and then he gets his back taken and gives up a rear naked choke. Now, the thing is with this fight is Rufi is not really a grappler. He's a low-volume striker that likes to kick. He has a very good pullback counter right hand with power in it, so he's dangerous there. But everything that Iliantop's shown me he's got a great chin. He's a dog. He keeps coming forward. He has very, very good kicks himself, and he's a southpaw. You know, I'm sorry, he could change southpaw and orthodox. He could fight in both stances. So, again, favorites have been blown to oblivion, and this is happening again here. And I don't see why this guy's minus 900. I really don't. I played Iliantop plus 600. Like, this line is way, way overblown. If you told me Rufi should be minus 250, I'd say, okay, minus 300, you're pushing it, but okay. But this is a low volume striker that's looking to kind of knock you out, and he could be had. We saw in a Dana White's Contender Series, the other guy just kicked him, which is what Iliantop does a lot, and he was up 2-0 going into round 3. And now he's minus 900. So I'm going to take a shot here, plus 600. Huge line, in my opinion. Will Iliantop win? Probably not when you look at the line, but is there value? I think there's a ton of value here. And if you tell me, is there a chance he wins? Of course. That's why I'm playing him. If I thought there's 0 chance this guy wins and he's a plus 600, I'm not betting him. But I definitely think there's a path that this guy can win this fight.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the board and you need a spot to pick, and if you actually watch that fight, like you said, you would know that this is definitely an overreaction. And my question to you is, after you've been betting MMA for so long and watching specifically the UFC for a long time, do you feel like these overreactions and the recency bias is inflating lines more so than in the past because of that run of favorites that's been going on, or do you think those aren't correlated?
100% correlated, in my opinion. Like, I don't see how this guy just blew up. I mean, when I look at the history of this line, the line movement, this guy opened as a minus 220 favorite. Minus 220. And he's a minus 900. So, yeah, I do think this has pretty much been this, crazy run that people are just stacking up on favorites. I mean, how can you bet this guy that's a low-volume striker that really doesn't grapple in his fights as a minus 800, minus 900? You're going to get burned on fighters like this. I can tell you, in the long run, you're going to get burned betting these fighters at these prices.
Oh, and I mean, that goes universally across any sport. If you're betting those types of numbers, you are going to be losing. And I'm sure,
someone's betting them, right? There's someone betting them because this guy,
if they're offering them, someone's betting them.
So this guy went to 220, then to 450, then to 800, then to 900. So people keep adding, right? Or adding them to parlays or whatever they're doing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Is this feels like, if the upset does happen, this feels like we're going to see a million parlay tickets across our timelines where that's the only leg that loses. It's how could it lose? Minus 900. How could it lose? Anything can happen. This is one sport where, everybody says that about every sport, and I think it is universally true where that's why we play the games. Anything can happen. But truly, there's nothing like MMA where you think all the momentum is heading one way, and then boom, right there, somebody gets submitted, somebody gets knocked out. Um, if you're betting those types of prices, more power to you. I personally will not be. And it is just another ode to the importance of shopping lines. If you are going to bet heavy favorites, if you are going to, bet on things like that, or just in general, make sure you're shopping lines. There are just so many books out there, so many books trying to be competitive with each other, trying to offer something better to get new users. There's something out there that will give you more value. And if you don't have the time to be shopping lines like that, the guy I'm talking to right now, Narco Cop, has a free trial right underneath this tweet where he is pretty much that's all he's doing is shopping these lines for you guys watching the tape and finding the best value. So if you don't have the time to do all that, which it can be grueling if you really are putting the work in, just tail a guy like Narco Cop, hop in the Discord and enjoy fight night. It's going to be awesome, and this is a fight where that could be a hell of a swing to start the main card for you. That could be a big start where if you have some other losses, it washes the night out. So that'll be fun. That's definitely a fight to pay attention to. Next up, we have a battle of two Brazilians here, okay? And I'm definitely going to butcher one name. Araujo and Silva. Am I close?
Araujo, yeah. Viviane Araujo.
Okay. Yep, and Silva. Yeah, yep. And Silva is the favorite right now, looking on FanDuel at a minus 295 favorite. This is the second fight of the card. What do you got for me on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going dog hunting again here, believe it or not. I'm
Nice.
sticking to my guns. I'm sticking to my tape. Um, Karine Silva, been in the UFC for 4 fights now. She's 4-0. She's looked good. Um, Albeit it's been low level of competition, not the best girls. The best girl she's fought has been Lipsky. And, she got some takedowns there. She didn't get the control she wanted. But on the feet, she was getting touched up a little. Karine Silva throws with ill intent on the feet, but her punches, her boxing is not very good. It's her kicking game that's pretty good, right? And then she's pretty strong, can get girls down on the ground, and she has a dangerous submission game. So she's a front-loaded fighter. When I say front-loaded fighter, is a lot of her wins come in the first 7.5 minutes because she's most dangerous then. When the fight extends, she starts to tire out. She starts to look sloppy, and quite honestly, on the feet, she doesn't look good at all later in fights. She was running away in round 3 against Lipsky last time out. She did not look good in round 3. And she was pretty much dominating the first 2 rounds. This is a girl that, her cardio is just not great. That's why she's so front-loaded, right? She's used to finishing girls early. She's used to finishing them in the first round or 7.5 minutes. When the fights are extending, she's not doing so well. And you could see that with her record. She had a loss against Diane Barbosa, who is in the UFC right now, and she looked pretty bad in that fight. She was taken down. She laid on her back. She's the type of girl that instead of trying to get up when she gets taken down, she decides to submit you off her back. And that's not going to work against Araujo. Araujo's a black belt. She's very good on the ground. She's faced a much, much better level of opposition. She has a lot more experience in the UFC. She's faced the best of the best, quite honestly. She's faced, the former champion Alexa Grasso. She's faced one of the biggest upcomers right now, Natalia Silva, last time out, in a fight that was pretty damn close, if you ask me. And they had the scorecards 30-27, but that's not the telling story of how this fight played out. It was extremely close. Araujo has power on the feet. She can take you down. She has good grappling, good wrestling early on. And she's a black belt. She's very dangerous on top. So when I look at these two girls, I'm like, how is this one girl that's new to the UFC that has fought the very low level of the division is a minus 230, minus 240 favorite against this proven fighter that's fought and beat good girls in the UFC? How is she this big of a favorite? And on the feet, I think the better strikers are usual by a good margin. Early on, I think both girls are dangerous. But the girl with more proven cardio is our usual. She's been 5 rounds. She went 5 rounds against Grasso. And she's been 3 rounds multiple times. I don't know how this other girl's the favorite. If I was to line this fight, honestly, I'd probably make our usual a slight favorite. And yet she's sitting as a dog here, a big dog. So I attacked the line here. I think I got plus 230. The line's come down. I gave it to the Discord at plus 230.
Plus 220 on FanDuel now, so a little bit. Yep.
So you could get 220 still. I still think that's an incredible price, honestly. I have 2 units on her at plus 230. I think this is way overblown here.
Yeah.
I honestly think our usual wins this fight more times than not. So I think she should be the slight favorite here. Maybe like minus 120, 125, 130.
Wow.
And she's a plus 220 dog. So when I look at their tape, there's nothing that tells me, outside of an early submission, there's nothing that tells me Silva should be a big favorite. And our usual's never been submitted. The girl that's been submitted has been the favorite.
Yeah.
She's been submitted. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know why this is where it is, but I like our usual in a pretty big way here.
Yeah. Well, as a casual bettor of this sport, when I'm looking to build a parlay, because I'm always going to build a parlay, I'm going to take my solos, my singles, of course, but I'm always going to have a parlay going for the night. I'm typically looking to grab favorites that are anything below minus 300. That is how a lot of casual bettors look at it, is it's a little bit too much juice. I want to get into the plus money with a couple that are right around 300 or close to maybe more minus 250. This feels like one of those spots where I have no clue about either fighter in this matchup, and I just look at the minus 295 favorite and I go, yep, sounds about right. So you think it's priced in correctly. I trust your judgment. The dogs sound like they may be barking this weekend, and that's very exciting because that just leads to some crazy finishes, fun events, people hitting some underdog tickets that just look insane. So that's very exciting, and I will definitely be telling that one because I couldn't tell you either way. And if you're saying it's mispriced, I trust your judgment on that one. This next fight is, I think, highly anticipated. We're looking at kind of a phenom, somebody who's got a ton of media hype. Obviously he went to the inferior Penn State wrestling. Iowa wrestling is number 1. Shout out my Hawks. But we got Bo Nickel and Paul Craig. Bo Nickel is on FanDuel minus 1,000 right now. I believe he's 6-0. He is definitely, on the come up to be one of the faces of the UFC, if he already isn't. A lot of love, a lot of publicity around him, and he's sitting at minus 1,000. Are you looking at anything in this matchup?
So let me go over one thing really quick. Bo Nickel has been in the UFC 3 fights. He has had 3 fights in the UFC. His first fight, he was a minus 2,000 favorite. His second fight, he's a minus 1,600 favorite. In his third fight, he was a minus 1,600 favorite. So you could see they've been matching him up pretty favorably, right? He's been 10 to 1 and over in every single fight. So the UFC is obviously trying to build him. I mean, people love this guy. Huge wrestling background, like everybody knows. This guy's a elite wrestler. He's very green in MMA, right? When I say very green, his striking is not very good yet. His jiu-jitsu is not, very good yet. It's getting better for sure, and everything is getting better. But the UFC is slowly working this guy up, right? If you ask me right now who they want their champion to be next year, it's probably Bo Nickel. It literally is probably Bo Nickel, right? They want him to be a champion. Will he be? I don't know. I think he's too green for MMA to be beating the top guys, right? But he has a clear edge in probably 99.9% of his fights, and that's the grappling, the wrestling, right? He's if he wants to take you down, you're going down, and he's facing a guy in Paul Craig that Augusta Wynn can take down. This guy doesn't have very good takedown defense. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. He likes to play off his back and get a submission, and it's extremely hard to submit a high-level wrestler like Bo Nickel off your back, because these guys are like so physically strong on top. They're so heavy on top that you're just not going to be able to get your jiu-jitsu game off.
Worn out. Yeah,
you're going to be worn out on bottom. And so this is another like matchup for him where, he's going to get a takedown. And Paul Craig is not the best striker either. Like, he's just not a very good striker. He's a jiu-jitsu guy who is willing to play off his back. And, Paul Craig is a veteran of the game. He's been in the UFC forever, and he's pulled off some miraculous submission wins again in fights where he was just absolutely losing or getting dominated in. But it's not happening here, man. He's gonna get taken down. The question is, this is the question you got to ask yourself if you're betting this fight: is it gonna be submission, or is it gonna be a knockout on the ground from ground and pound? And I don't know. I quite honestly don't know. The better pricing on this fight is, I believe, KO. You can get, submission. You can get submission at like plus 240, I believe, on Bo Nickel. Not even 240. So yeah, it's one of those where it's a toss up on how he's gonna finish, and I'm leaning knockout, but I don't know. I honestly don't know. But he's not losing this fight. It's a fight where he's going to be winning this fight, and he's just going to be pushing on towards the top, and the UFC's trying to build him.
Yeah, it feels like one to stay away from unless you have some sort of edge here. Definitely, that's just too heavy of a favorite. And like you're saying, they are trying to build him up, and for good reason. He's incredibly marketable, and he's proven to put up some big numbers viewership-wise. But we'll move on to one that seems like it could be a little bit closer. Two very recognizable names, even for casuals like myself. We got Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler. Oliveira is the favorite at minus 270 on UFC right now, and then I'm looking at FanDuel. He is minus 265. This is definitely a fight for a lot of casuals that are aware of both of these guys, and I've probably watched a lot of their fights. What are you looking at in this one? Is there any edge here?
Yeah, I mean, I love this fight. It's a rematch, by the way. These guys fought 3 years ago. Michael Chandler hurt Charles Oliveira pretty bad in round 1. Oliveira came back and hurt Chandler in round 2 and then finished him. And this is a tale of a guy that's been active in Charles Oliveira, fighting the best, while we have a guy in Michael Chandler sitting on the sidelines, waiting for a fight with McGregor for 2 years that never happened, and now he's back after 2 years to fight Charles Oliveira again. He's always in good shape. The guy is training, but he's 38 years old. Let's not forget that. Michael Chandler's 38 years old. Oliveira's not a spring chicken, but he's 35. He's a little bit less there, in age. He's been more active. He's a guy to me that, he gets hurt in fights now, but he can use his jiu-jitsu to just, when you hurt him, all he has to do is flop on his back and say, come in my guard and let me try to submit you, right? And he did that. He did that against Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier hurt him bad. He went on his back and says, come in my guard and I will submit you. Eventually, he finished Dustin Poirier in round 3. Justin Gaethje hurt him as well. Did the same thing, flopped on his back, then came back and finished Justin Gaethje in the same round. And he did the same thing against Michael Chandler in their first fight. He got hurt, went to his back. Michael Chandler couldn't finish him there. Round 2 started. He finished him in round 2. So what I'm trying to say is Chandler is very dangerous early. Round one, he's throwing big bombs. The guy has a ton of power. He has very good wrestling, albeit he can't really use his wrestling here. He can't use, when he's hurt, he can't use his wrestling to bail him out because he's going to get subbed. So Michael Chandler's 38, inactive, facing a guy that's been very active, fought the best of the best, competed with the best of the best, because last fight against Arman Sarukian for Oliveira was extremely close. I was at the event. He almost subbed him in round one. He almost subbed him in round three. Oliveira's dangerous wherever the fight goes, on the feet or on the ground. Michael Chandler's only dangerous on the feet, and he's only dangerous for like 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a 5-round fight. It favors Oliveira. I like Oliveira here. I don't want to lay this price tag pre-fight just because I think if you wait a little bit after the first 5 minutes when Michael Chandler's most dangerous, right?
Yeah.
You can maybe get Oliveira at a way cheaper price if he gets hurt or something. And then you get to stay away from the variance that if Chandler knocks him out in round one, right? You don't lose your bet because you didn't put a pre-flop bet. So I think this is a live betting spot for Charles Oliveira, but I like the under 2.5, the alternate line at minus 250. It's minus 250. Okay. It's juiced, but this fight ends way more than 71% of the time, like that line indicates, under 2.5 rounds. So I think this fight ends probably upwards of 80% under 2.5. So at 80%, you're talking about minus 400, and the line is sitting at minus 250, which is 71% implied. You're getting an edge there, in my opinion. I like the under 2.5. If you don't like laying the juice, maybe parlaying it with something. But yeah, I like under 2.5 as my favorite bet on this fight.
Yeah, that's great insight for a live bet. That's something that I really didn't even consider with Chandler. I kind of forget how old he is. Every time he comes out, I get a little bit influenced by his energy at the beginning, and then I forget, like, oh, he's not making it to the end of these things. And a 5-round fight you say he's 37 years old?
38.
38 years old. That's a lot for a guy who comes out swinging. So, I mean, that's just a testament to your insight there, and another reason why you should be in the Discord. That's a live bet right there where you're going to be in the chat, get a notification, say, hey, we're live betting Charles right now. We can grab him at minus 120. He's plus money now. Let's go get it. Like, this is our opportunity.
It happened last fight with these two guys.
Yeah.
When he got dropped, when he was hurt, he was a pretty big dog. And that's the time to attack it because, Chandler, if he doesn't finish you, he's going to gas. It just is what it is. And Oliveira's going to take advantage of that. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, don't forget the closing price doesn't always have to be your price, okay? If you pay attention and you get in the war room there, there's so many opportunities, especially in this sport, where you can see a shift very quickly, especially for somebody who comes out so hard like Chandler. We have 10 minutes left here, and it's perfect timing to get to, I think, what everybody in the chat has been waiting for. Ton of hype, ton of anticipation, always around Jon Jones, but this could be a really fun fight. We got Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. Jon Jones is minus 700 on the UFC website. On FanDuel right now, he is minus 700 as well, with Stipe at plus 440 as the underdog. What are we looking at here? What's the play on this main event? What are we looking at?
Well, this is kind of a I don't even want to call it a gimmick fight, but it sort of is. Yeah. It sort of is in the sense that, Stipe, 4-year layoff. I mean, it's a little less than 4 years. It's like 3.5. But 3.5-year layoff when you're 28, okay, is, you're coming back when you're 31. It's okay. You still could be in your prime, right? You could have maybe improved during that time, right? Or when you're 31 to 34, it's still possible. You're still in your physical prime. But when you take 3.5 years off and you're coming back and you're 42, You're not improving. You're
Yeah.
not getting, your body is not getting healthier or better. And so you stop and think and say, well, this guy was out for 3.5 years. He hasn't fought since he got knocked out brutally by Francis Ngannou, right? He got knocked out brutally by Francis Ngannou. And now all of a sudden, he's coming back to fight John Jones, the best of all time, right? Why? Why is he taking this fight? And I think there's one reason, and it's money. I think he's doing it for money. The guy is a full-time firefighter. He talked about in his Instagram, he talked about how he worked 40-hour weeks 5 weeks ago. He was working as a firefighter. You're not all in when you're doing that, right? You're not a full-time fighter when you're doing that. You're a firefighter full-time. So facing the best of the best, John Jones, I mean, it's a matter of what happened. How does this happen? Is it a submission? Is it a knockout? Does it go to distance? And Stipe, because Stipe is tough. He's a veteran. He can survive possibly. He's not the easiest guy to take down. So it could be where it goes a little bit further than a round and a half or two. So I'm looking to target it more from a prop perspective, like overs, maybe targeting John Jones in a single game parlay, like John Jones money line and the fight to start round 2 or over 1.5, where I do think Stipe might kind of survive early. And John Jones is not the biggest puncher, even at light heavyweight. And now he's at heavyweight. I don't think his power is going to really translate. If he does get a knockout, I think it's going to be like ground and pound, right? You could do 12 to 6 elbows now, which John Jones likes.
Okay, yeah.
That's what he got disqualified with in his only loss, right? It was a 12 to 6 elbow. And so he could use those now. He's the better grappler of the two. He's got better jiu-jitsu of the two. And if he gets on top, Stipe is going to have a hard time getting up here because the guy is older. His hips are probably gone at this point. I mean, John Jones, it's just a matter of how he wins here and when he wins.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way, and we all know Dana, and we've seen it a million times. It's become a meme now at this point, pound for pound, greatest fighter. It is, kind of what everybody knows. There's no way they're going to set him up for failure in a spot like this. I think, Stipe coming back at this age, it is a little bit gimmicky. It does feel that way. The world will be tuning in regardless, though. Dana knows exactly what he's doing, and he's going to give us a show for sure. Any other props or spots that you might be eyeing down in this that you didn't mention? I mean, this is a fight here where I feel like picking a side, unless it's live, you're really just there's not much to look at. But are there any other props, strikes, or anything that you're looking at, or are you kind of just letting it play out and maybe doing some more live betting?
Well, I am definitely going to look at props. It's just that they haven't come out yet. A lot of these books are slow with the props, so they probably will come out tomorrow. Some of them will come out tomorrow. Most of them will come out on Thursday. It's a pay-per-view card. So, I'm going to look to probably attack some props on some of these fights. But, it's a decent card up and down. Not the best card for a pay-per-view, but you got some big names. You got some big fights up top. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good card.
Yeah. I mean, this is why we watch, right?
We also have Tyson against Paul this weekend, by the way.
Yeah, do we want to touch on that real quick? I think we had a couple chats about it. Anything in that fight you're looking at? Is there
honestly, guys? I will tell you from my perspective. Please stay away from this type of fight. Like this, if you want to talk about a gimmick fight, this is the one. I mean, this is a gimmick fight.
Right.
Tyson is pushing almost 60. I mean, how could you think about first of all, it's an exhibition fight. They call it. It's 2-minute rounds. It's only 8 rounds. Tyson's almost 60 years old. He talked about, let me just say this real quick. He talked about why he pulled out last time out, and he had some kind of bad ulcer or something in his stomach. He was throwing up blood. He lost 30 or 40 pounds. I mean, this guy's 60 years old almost, guys, and he's boxing.
Yeah. Any type of camp is going to put some crazy wear and tear on your body at that age. No matter how easy you take it, your recovery, anything. That's insane.
Do not bet this fight. I just think it reeks of a lot of stuff, do not bet this fight.
Yeah,
There's
of
other
course.
fights
Yeah.
on this card. Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano. I'm looking at possibly a bet there. And then there's Barrios against Ramos. That's a pretty good fight. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple other fights that are real boxing fights. This is not a real boxing fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is one that, most of us already have Netflix. You turn it on and you watch it because it's definitely going to be, at the very least, interesting. There will be stuff going on. It's
Entertaining.
incredibly gimmicky, for sure. Entertaining.
Tyson might bite his ear off. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, anything is possible at this point, and I just hope whatever the outcome is, it is the craziest possible outcome. Well, Narco Cop, it's a pleasure as always. This kind of insight, I feel like I learn more and more every time we talk. And guys, if you want his plays, you just heard his analysis, how detailed he is, how much he's actually watching the tape and learning about these fighters individually and looking at the UFC as a whole, because obviously the industry, the business has to become a factor in this stuff, and he's looking at it from, that 10,000-foot overview. So if you want to get all of his plays for this weekend, they're completely free. It's a free trial all the way through Sunday. It's right underneath the stream, 5 days free to get into his Discord. There's live betting, community sweats. Everybody's together watching the fights. It's an incredible time. Narco Cop, thank you so much, man. Best of luck this weekend.
Appreciate you, my man. Have a great weekend. Good luck, and have fun out there in Philly.
I will. And I'll be betting these dogs with you. I'm riding. Dogs are going to be barking. We'll see you, man. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Now we have, I mean, we're just transitioning between two absolute legends. I mean, we go from Narco Cop to Slop. I mean, this is like, these are just two incredibly sharp guys. And I don't know if everybody knows this. He did subtly say it this morning in his traditional gambling tweet, but it is his birthday. We are on live with the birthday boy. John, do you have a birthday message for the people? Anything of inspiration to get people excited to bet? Because if you need a little bit of excitement, it is a Tuesday. We have some good NBA, but how do you get the people up for a Tuesday slate like this?
You don't have to. The NBA is going to do it for us. All we got to do is hit some buttons, and there's a chance we're all get rich. I mean, what's better than that?
You got to shoot a shot. If you don't get in there, who's going to know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of action still. There's a lot of college basketball. We have NBA. I'm not sure everything that you want to get into, but the mic is yours. I know you put out your video a little bit ago. If you want to walk through that, but you tell us what should we be betting tonight? What should we be looking at there, John?
NBA, obviously. I think there's 8 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 8 games tonight. Starts at 7. Last one starts at 10. That's perfect. I mean, you can go right into the 7 o'clock window. I know where I'm going already. I'm going Tyler Hero, Miami Heat, and I'm going to go 24-plus points. I got that at ESPN this morning. It's an alt line, and it was like even money. So I haven't seen it in a while. So I got my screen up, so I just kind of look at this all day and watch. Yeah, it should be around there right now. You could do 23+ at FanDuel -108 if you want to. That dip down, but I don't know. I don't see how he doesn't score like their points tonight. I mean, they kind of care about that in-season tournament. Like, we make jokes about it as fans, but those players, they kind of care about that. It's not. They don't want to lose. You know what I mean? It's not just another November game to these guys. Like, I don't know that it's
Definitely
the NBA
not.
Finals. I don't know that it's the playoff, but I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that they just don't care at all. So
yeah, and I appreciate them putting it in so we can actually get some effort in the month of November. I mean, it worked last year. Lakers won it. It was super entertaining. I'm glad they're keeping this as an event because it got people watching. The only critique I have is some of those courts are giving me like brain damage watching those games because they're so bright and flashy. So I hope they're a little bit more mild this year.
Yeah, no, the courts are completely out of control. But I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? Once they start playing, it's fine. You could just watch. But yeah, they get a little bit loose. But again, man, they gotta have something to do. It's November. We're talking about the NBA here. Without gambling, like, would you really watch this shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Seriously, in November, like, it sounds like a mean thing to say, but it's not, dude. Like, it's tough, bro. It's November.
And these leagues know it. As much as Kevin Durant wants to say that he doesn't care, well, I would be shocked if a large portion of viewership at this point of the season was not funded or on the backs of gamblers. So, Kevin, your contract is getting paid for by degenerates, so you should put some respect on our names, like LeBron.
LeBron cares like that. He went up a peg in my book. Like I don't know how high he got, but he went higher than he was.
Yeah.
So that's big. Yeah, dude. Looking through, I don't know about you. Have you ever played first quarter points, like player props?
A little bit, and I took advantage of that FanDuel boost. I think it was last week. They had that first quarter boost. I don't know if they're going to be offering it, but yeah, first quarter bets are always fun.
Dude, I'm kind of hooked. Like kind of. Like there's just it's just so much. I mean, all you got to do, excuse me, I'm a little bit tired. But all you got to do is find the rotations. Just figure out, who's playing the most minutes, like who comes out, when do they come out, stuff like that. But I mean, you find deals like Bataze today, Goga. Dude, 2.5 points, minus 113. That was plus money the other day for this guy. But the Hornets, they're not great inside. They're not horrible. But, dude, we're talking about 2 dunks. Like, this guy's going to play for probably 7 minutes, maybe 8 minutes in the first quarter. And they have just nobody scoring the basketball in Orlando. Like, Paolo's gone. Wendell Carter's gone. I mean, Paolo being gone is the biggest problem for them.
Yeah.
I mean, like that was literally their offense. So now, dude, if you watch their games, they kind of move the ball around. He's going to get tip dunks, like offensive rebounds. So, dude, twice. That's it. He just needs to dunk the ball twice, and you win. And, dude, those bets are incredible just for that. But, I mean, if you wanted to look at stars in that game, LaMelo, 6 points. Like, seriously, it's not the same Magic defense without a lot of these guys. Although Jalen Suggs is not bad. I'm not going to hate on him.
Yeah, when you see that line movement, when it was plus money, and does that tell you, hey, he's going to be a little bit more involved? He's going to have more minutes early on. He's going to be more involved in rotations. Is that what that line is telling you?
They're just catching up. That's all. Like,
yeah,
he's doing his damage in the first quarter. The thing is, like, these things are divided by their derivatives. Like, they're the full game divided by 4. You know what I'm saying? But they don't play even in every quarter. Like, this guy's minutes, a lot of them come in the first quarter. So that's huge. And plus, I don't know, like you get what the team wants to do game plan wise. You know what I mean? Like, they want to come on and do that. They haven't done any adjustments yet, and you can bet into what they want to try to do. Now, whether they're going to be successful, that's another story. But it's nice to see your guy that he only has to get 2 buckets to go, and he shoots the ball 5 times. I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if I know anything about my big men, it's all their energy comes off in the first half. So if you're going to take anything on those guys, take it early. Yeah. Those were the fat kids of old that have now hit their growth spurt and are big men in the NBA. It's early effort for a guy like that. I like that a lot.
Then we can move on. I don't know if Tatum's going to play for the Celtics, so if you wanted to get in on that, I'd say maybe a Derek White over 3.5 points. He can get it whether Tatum plays or not. That's huge, and it's Atlanta. Atlanta's going to have Dyson Daniels on one of those guys, probably Tatum or Brown. So the ball's going to move to a guy like White. So that's another look for the first quarter. Again, 4 points, dude.
Yeah.
4 points. The guy scores twice, you win. He's going to play the first 6 minutes, and then he usually comes back, which is also fun, too, because you get to see your guy go sit down, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, shit, he's back. You know what I mean? Like, even better, because normally –
first quarter bet, yeah.
Yeah, normally the guys, they don't quite make it. You know what I mean? Like, they sit down. They're not coming back in. Like, you either won or lost, basically, right there. I'm trying to think.
Well, and Atlanta's entire roster is out. I mean, they have a ton of injuries. Bogdanovich – Zeller, Trae Young, they got nobody playing. Yeah, he's out till the 15th. That could be a blowout. That could be bad.
It will be, I think. I mean, I don't think there's any way you can play some of these Ricochet lines or even Dyson Daniels just very difficult to play in a 15-point game, which I don't think they'll be able to keep up. I mean, we'll see. But one thing I do like about them is pace. Dude, they play at the 4th fastest pace in the NBA. So they run up and down the floor. I'm sure they'll probably do it tonight. Capella's going to get run off the floor, so they're going to have to go smaller. So they will have to run. And when that happens, I mean, it's the shooters. So Derek White is definitely a fun one. Looking at first quarters, we can just look through all the first quarter ones right now that I have.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me find the other one.
Do you look at like first quarter totals at all when you have a fast team like that, or is that more for full game if it's runners?
Very rare, like sometimes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to do a lot of dude, I am dying. Like I woke up way too early this morning. You know what I'm saying? One of those days where it's like, damn, dude, I'm not gonna be able to fall back asleep. I feel like I've been up like 2 days at this point. Like it's.
Did you stay out for your birthday last night, or you got plans tonight, or you just?
I was just
taking
watching
it easy?
TV, stayed up kind of late, but I just fell asleep. Like I said, I woke up and it was like, fuck, dude, it's 4:30, and like I am kind of like wide awake. You know, like very wide. So then I was like, all right,
R.I.P.
Yeah, I'll grab my phone, start looking at bets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
obviously, and then the juices go.
Yep, I never fell back asleep. I was like, this sucks. I know I'm going to be dragging later on. But we're getting Mexico tonight, so I'm all set, dude.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's going to be
Any
legit.
Margaritas, or are you keeping it dry
I'm not
tonight?
away. I had the, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday drinks. So I'm all set. I can make it, you know what I mean, till, this weekend. But Mexico's just I'm trying to think, what's that place called? Chipotle, except, a little more gangster. Which is awesome. It's great. So, can't wait. They have $5 burrito nights, dude, on Mondays. We just missed that, but it is what it is, dude. They're worth $8.
That's worth it, yeah.
Anyway, so I'm fired up for that. That's what's gonna keep me awake, bro.
Yeah,
that's what's gonna keep me awake.
Fuel. Are you making it to the late game? That's
all right. So here's what you do in a situation like that. That's a great question. In a situation like that, what you want to do is just take a first quarter. Don't bet the whole game because you're not going to make it, dude. You're not going to make it. You're going to be laying on the couch. You're going to be watching TV. You've already seen a whole slate of early games, whole games, dude. So you're not going to be ready. You know what I'm saying? You don't got a doubleheader in you. Take the first quarter and then just fall out.
That's a pro move right there. That's a move you learn having kids, doing this for a long time. That's a move you know you got to set yourself up for the next day.
Yeah, you want to have action, but you got to be realistic, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the 9:00 game, Nurk for the Suns, dude, that's a gift. 3.5 points. Here's another thing is, Kevin Durant used to There's video. Go look it up, dude. There's videos of Kevin Durant just undressing that dude for not passing and stuff like that, just yelling at his big ass. Dude, Kevin Durant's not playing. So Nurk's going to be out there just hanging on the ball.
Getting his buckets,
doing whatever he wants. Even looking at Durant, too, if he's on the bench. Be like, get some. That's good. And then, 2, no Walker Kessler for the Jazz. The Jazz are literally the best matchup for centers in the NBA. They give up 30 a game, it feels like, to opposing centers. So the idea that Kessler is not going to be available. It's just going to be a free for all if they want it inside. Only thing is, this dude Nurk does kind of miss a lot of open shots, bunnies, underneath the basket. That's one problem he has. He's kind of a goofy guy, but dude, it's 4 points. He can get it done.
4 points when he doesn't have Daddy KD breathing down his neck, telling him, hey, you're gonna get a 3 seconds here, get the ball out. Yeah, no, this is his time.
Yeah, no, he's gonna do his thing. I don't know. We've all played on teams where there was an alpha, and whenever that alpha's not there, you just do whatever the hell you want because
let the kids play. There. Exactly.
And then one more first quarter. So that's 4 for us, dude. That's insane. 4 gifts, really. The problem with all these though is they're all minus money, just because they're catching up to us, dude. They know what's going
Mm-hmm.
on. But DeAndre Ayton, it's minus 146 at FanDuel, minus 184 at Caesars, minus 180 at ESPN Bet. It's 4 points, guys. Like 4 points. That's it. That's all he has to do. Is 4 points. That's 2 dunks. All right. Rudy Gobert. They all like for all the Rudy Gobert is a great defender and everything. Centers are getting like almost 25 a game against these guys. They're like he's like kind of a sieve a little bit. So they'll go at him. Ayton plays enough of the first quarter, like I said, to get again 2 dunks. Like we don't need this guy to set a record or anything like that. He just needs to get 2 dunks. So I'm trying to think how he played him the other night, and he kind of got embarrassed, like really embarrassed. So there was that, but at the same time, this game's at home. He's gonna get to redeem himself. Like I mean, like when I say he had a bad night, he had a really bad night. So you know he's coming
Mm-hmm.
back strong tonight. There's no way he's
Yeah.
gonna like. He's probably gonna score the first basket. I would say if you're a first basket guy, he's probably getting the first one just to get himself going, and that'll be that. If
Yeah, I
you,
mean, and DeAndre Ayton is that's a guy who's historically proven to be low effort. I mean, he's literally given up on games. He had that one. I don't think it was a playoff game, but it was an important game late in the season where he didn't show up because he had like ice or snow in his driveway. Like he
yeah,
doesn't care. So if we're getting anything out of him, it's going to be early. I
early.
like that spot a lot, and I do think I think it's a lot of centers or big men look at Rudy Gobert like, the public narrative of he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
deserve all those defensive player of the years. So I think it's when he's given up, you said I think it's 25 on average. It's just a lot of these guys being like, he's not that good and I'm going to prove it right now. Even if he is pretty good, I'm not going to let it show against me. So I love that. I love that. Keep going at him.
It's a challenge. Well, I mean, the first quarter so far this season, Aiden's taken 47 shots. All right, that's more than he's taken in any other quarter. Any other, like, it's kind of not even close.
Front runner.
And while I mean, I'm sorry, it's the second highest field goal percentage. I was gonna say it was the first highest, but in the second quarter, he shoots 65%, but he barely plays. He's only taking like 29 shots. So, anyway, this guy comes out. He also might take a 3, which is crazy, but that could happen. So there is that. But yeah, first quarter is when you want to take a DeAndre Ayton type. You know what I mean? Because if he's going to get his points for the game, he's probably getting in the first quarter.
A lot of big men. This might be a new strategy here. First quarter big men. This
Oh, dude,
You're opening my mind right now.
this is old school shit, dude. We've been doing this since they gave us first quarter. But yeah, the big guys. The only problem you got to watch out for is Alex. Watch out for the fouls because that sucks. But I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do about that. Little guys foul too, so
Yeah.
there's really not
Yeah.
a lot we can do about that. If you staying up late tonight, dude.
Yeah. I'll be up for these games.
Okay,
I don't have
because
kids. I don't have kids.
then
I'm
stay up
up.
late, dude. All right,
Yeah.
my guy Matt Modi. He was on. We do a podcast in the mornings.
Yep.
He's on Clay 4+ threes, and I think that is a just genius move. I mean, he's not the only one. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, he's the only one I know that was that like, yeah, we got to take this.
I
And
mean,
I
revenge
think,
game.
yeah, he kind of sold me. I think we have to. I'm looking right now.
The volume will be
Right.
there. You know he's going to get the shots up. There's no doubt against the Warriors, and that might even make me lean into taking some stuff on Steph because it could be a I'm the splash bro. No, I'm the splash bro. Kind of a redemption for both of them to say no, it was more me. No, it was more me. Just might be a million shots put up, million threes. So I might take alt lines on both of those guys actually.
I mean,
Plus 150 on FanDuel right now for Clay at 4+.
Clay in the first quarter, you can get plus 116 at Caesars for over 3.5. But I mean, how would you? I don't know. Like, I'm looking up his quarter right now. His shooting so far in the his splits, but
The cliche is third quarter Clay. I don't know if that still carries on this late in his career, but I know his third quarter historically is unbelievable.
All right, so first quarter, it's his worst so far. Fourth quarter, Clay is 10 of 21 from three.
So this
So
might
if you were to
be a
get
full
those
game
early,
play.
you might be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you take a side or a total in this game at all? I mean, the total is 234.5 right now. Are
Nah.
you taking anything other than no?
No, I would just take Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's 3-point Clay. But that sucks, dude. First quarter, I would love to take that, but he legitimately is 13 of 32. 4 for 17 from three, which is
Do you have any
not great.
first quarter shot attempts? Do you have that at all?
Yeah, so
get that
far
down
this
anywhere.
season, first quarter shot attempts 32.
Like if you can bet it, if you can get that down anywhere. I doubt any books are offering first quarter attempts, but if they are, that feels like he might just come out hot, just trying to get him up.
Yeah, do you think that might be like Prize Picks or an underdog
Probably. Yeah,
or
DFS
something like
guys.
that? Do they
Any
have that?
DFS people in the chat, let us know if they have those
I'm gonna
first
look it
quarter
up.
attempts. That's something that could be interesting. That applies to any of these other big men that you've given the first quarter points. If you think they're getting the points, they're going to be taking the shots.
Yeah, they have to. You know what I mean? Can't score if you don't shoot, Alex.
That's just a lesson in there.
That's just how shooting works.
Is there I mean, looking at this in-season tournament, I always forget like the structure of it, but are you playing any futures on this thing? I know they offer lines. Are you looking at any team to win this in-season tournament, or are you staying away from any of that stuff?
No, I wouldn't bet that. I mean, it is what it is. I just go. I'm a pretty bad futures better, to be honest with you. It's not my game because what you're doing at that point is you're trading. You know what I mean? So you really got to be schedule based, blah blah blah. And I'm not in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially NBA where people just decide that they're injured for 10 games or sitting out for personal issues. And these lines, I mean, the actual lines for the NBA Cup, sorry, let me be correct, got to be all bullshit, right? Because we haven't even seen some of these full rosters. Some guys will probably come back for this NBA Cup. Celtics are the favorite, obviously, as they should be. They're favored by a lot. They're plus 400. The Cavs are sitting at plus 1,000. I'm sure that's going to be the public favorite the way they're playing right now, but has to come crashing down soon. Did they lose? I thought they beat the Bulls last night.
No, I'm thinking, have they lost? I don't.
Oh
think
no,
lost.
they're still undefeated. Yeah.
Hang on. Yeah, they beat the Bulls last night, right?
Yeah. I don't think they covered though. I believe it was an 8-point spread.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if you don't cover, then you shouldn't really get credit for the win. But that's just me.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So Klay Thompson 5+ threes is plus 310. And that feels like a fun parlay piece, but.
Any other big plus money plays? Anything else that you're looking at ladder wise?
All right, so that's a good question. Double is a fun market for me. Like I like the double market a lot, but today there just wasn't like that move. You know what I mean? Where like you just look at it and you're like, man, like that shouldn't be 900. You know what I mean? A Giannis triple-double, believe it or not, is probably in play. But here, I'll grab it up right now on the screen. It doesn't it's not going to be priced the way it should be. Like we want
You think it'll
like
be priced
900.
worse?
Yeah, we want something high, dude. It's 425 at BetMGM. Looks like it's best offered 450 at ESPN. I'll be honest with you. If you're gonna play it, it would be on a night like tonight.
Any star playing after a coach gets fired, I mean, they always turn it up. It's a statement.
No Dame, which is kind of a big deal. I mean, really a big deal. Raptors.
Do you look at Nurkic at all for the double-double? I mean, Nurkic was already averaging, right under 10 points a game, averaging about 10 rebounds with no KD and no a little bit longer leash for him. Do you look at that double-double at all?
No,
'Cause I know you liked his first quarter.
Only because Caesars has that at -110 right now.
Yeah, I'm not taking a.
Yeah,
It's got to be plus
you know what
money.
I mean? Like the prices,
Yeah.
you want double doubles, man. Like you want to hit the 800, 900, 1100, like those in that range. Dyson Daniels is interesting, but I don't know that that guy plays the whole night. You know what I mean? Like they might get their asses kicked, and if that happens, then like he's not going to see the floor in the fourth quarter. So.
No, they have too many injuries to risk any relevant player actually like staying in too long, getting hurt at this point. Yeah, they're really. Sengun was my patron saint, my double-double machine last year, but he's obviously taken another step, and the books have caught up, and now it's like if it's not a triple-double, I can't bet on him. He's just been way too good.
It's completely over.
Are there any players that you've seen where you feel like the books haven't necessarily caught up to their new role or some of their growth in the offseason? Is there anybody that you're looking at like for the rest of the season? It's like he may be mispriced pretty frequently here.
Brandon Miller was that guy, but they got him. Like they were giving us 16.5. Look now, he's 19.5, 20.5 at some spots. I'm trying to think. Not really though. Now they've got it. It's been a few weeks now, so they're pretty much all set with that type of like development. So now you're looking for anytime there's an injury. Who is it? Who's replacing them? Like what type of player? What's the archetype? You know what I mean? And sometimes you end up with gold. I mean, the McCain kid from Philly is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He
I'm
interested
clutch through the
to
other
see
night.
what his points come out at. I haven't seen them. I don't think we have them yet. I'm looking. Hang on.
Yet.
No, he's not there yet. So we got that. The point guard for the Hawks might be what the hell's his name? He's got a brother in the league. Fuck, why can't I think of his name? He is gonna be worth a look because I think a lot of people are gonna be jumping on Jalen Johnson and for good reason. But this kid can play. Hang on.
Keaton Wallace?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's him. So Keaton Wallace, I'm not sure how to play him though. I wish I did know, but do you do points? Do you do assist? Do you just take Jalen Johnson triple-double and call it a night? That's a thing. Let's see what his number is for that. Do
you ever do combos? Are you ever doing points, rebounds, assists, rebounds, assists?
No, I have a theory though. I don't know how true it is, but I stay with it no matter what. And the theory says that if they get their PRAs, then they got their points. And if they got their points and rebounds, you know what I'm saying? Like the only
just take
one
the points.
Would be rebounds and assist. Sometimes you can catch lightning in a bottle there.
Well, is this correct? Yeah, I mean, looking at Keaton Wallace right now, last time he played Boston, he had 2 blocks and 4 steals, which is a wild stat. So maybe if you can catch the book slip and look at some of his defensive props, maybe he gets after it a little bit extra against them. But that was the last time he played over 20 minutes was against Boston. So could be a defensive guy. I mean,
that's not a bad look, dude, because they'll give you at some of these books, they'll give you blocks plus steals at Ballybet.
Over a half, over 1.5 if it's sitting at plus money.
Ballybet will be plus 1.5 or 1.5. It'll be watch for him, and it'll be pretty good plus money. Because it's tough to price that for guys that don't play much. You know what I mean? Because that's a volume stat too, as well as it's a skill stat.
Yeah, and he's played over 20 minutes, I guess, twice now, and in both of those games, he only had 6 points. And he had 2 steals against New Orleans when he played over 20 minutes, and 4 against Boston, 2 blocks against Boston. So, yeah, I mean, just a hustle guy. You can't. That's an effort look,
yeah. Old school. Remember Darrell Armstrong for the Magic?
I don't know.
Back in the day? Yeah, number 10. He was a Dude, that team, their like motto was called Heart and Hustle. Like that's how you knew they were a bad team because like their motto was literally Heart and Hustle. And it's like, all right, this team's gonna suck. But they had him and Bo Outlaw, and both those dudes would just get on the ground like for any ball. And it was
Were those the Dwight Howard teams?
before him? It was how they
Okay.
got Dwight Howard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was
When
actually
your mantra is effort, you're getting
Yeah.
a good pick in the next draft.
Yeah, it won't be long before you're getting. Actually, I think it was right before T-Mac. It was right before they went and they signed Grant Hill and T-Mac on the same day, and it was going to be incredible. The Orlando Magic were back, and all of a sudden Grant Hill just like never played because he was hurt literally the whole time. And then once T-Mac left, that's when I think after that they got Howard. So. But yeah, anytime your mantra is we dive on the floor for loose balls, it's like, oh shit, like this team sucks. And they did.
Keaton Wallace may be the Daryl Armstrong reincarnated. Yeah. So take his defensive props, look for it, see if you can find some value on there.
That's what's tough about talking NBA at 3:00 on any day because man, they got the bench guys just like held up on us. You know what I mean? Which is kind of crazy. It's like, come on, guys, just throw that and see what happens.
Yeah, and it hasn't gotten any better. You want to say it's not just because of the gambling, but it does feel as if that's a lot of the reason. I mean, these late injury announcements, now that they're fining the Sixers and suspending Joel Embiid, maybe some things are going to change. But for these backups, in terms of offering lines, it might actually get worse throughout the season.
Oh yeah, I'm a big backup guy too, which really you know what I mean? Because like you have to wait, and it's difficult because you want to get your bet in, you want to get ready, like mentally prepare yourself.
That's why I still like using Bovada. Shout out Bovada. It's always held me down. But Bovada has some of those lines. I swear they come out a little bit earlier than some of these domestic books. And it's always, you can just find good spots, especially if someone's a game time decision and they historically are not going to play. You just know if it's a Ben Simmons type and he's a game time decision, that's out. Those are the same thing. He's going to be out. So shout out Bovada. I know some of those DFS apps will give you them, but yeah.
DFS will come out first.
Yeah. Do you ever do any DFS? I believe it's legal in Massachusetts, right?
I did one today. I'll probably do underdog probably every day for the rest of my life now. Pretty much set.
Do you do fantasy score ever? I know you don't do a lot of combos, but do you ever look at fantasy score?
Now that's different. That's actually good because like the blocks and steals can really get you home whenever they don't have one of the other categories. So yeah, fantasy score is definitely one that you're looking for. I used to love DFS. That's how I got into betting player props. Because DFS was fun, man. And then you start to realize, like, all right, cool. I don't have to have like 8 guys in my lineup that all do well. I can just pick the guy I think's going to do well and just bet on him. And then that, you know what I'm saying? Like it was a natural fit, like super natural fit.
Yeah. I always say that
that's where it's at.
I always say that fantasy football is just like the gateway drug to prop betting, which ends up a lot in the hands of DFS, obviously. But it truly is. Once you start experiencing, once you pull a guy off the waiver in your fantasy league with your buddies and he goes off for, 150 and 2 touchdowns, that's an addictive feeling and you think you can read it. And that has been the gateway, I think, for a lot of this industry. It's just people doing fantasy and realizing how fun this is.
Well, fantasy was always gambling. It's just, I think gambling has such a negative connotation on it, right? Like sports betting, you start thinking, oh yeah, degenerate, and you're like, well, no, you know what I mean? Like that sports better does not mean degenerate. Like it just doesn't. But
there are degenerates, but there are degenerates in anything. I know I have friends that go in, wait for the opening bell of the stock market and lose money every day and just keep going. That's a degenerate. And then I have friends that are EV bettors that are profitable and have been for years that are some of the smartest people I know. It's just, you're going to find those types in any industry where you can. So that connotation's crazy.
And it's insane. Like it's so crazy when you hear it because it's like, oh, well, all right. But to be honest with you, everyone, like the same people that will say that they're fantasy players. And like, oh, you have a fantasy player. you know you're
Yeah.
gambling, right? Because you put money into a pot.
You got to buy in. Yeah.
And
What's that?
and
Yeah.
then the winner gets it. You understand that's gambling, correct? And it's like, oh, well, that's not the same thing. It's like maybe not the same thing, but it
It's
is
just not an
gambling.
immediate payout.
Yeah, it's definitely gambling. So you're a season-long gambler. You're not a micro bettor. That you know what I'm saying? Like that's just a different kind of gambler. Like that's all that means.
Everyone who
And-
plays fantasy is a degenerate. That's what we're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. So don't
At
call me a
heart.
degenerate if you
Right.
play anything for money. If you ever bought a scratch off. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but-
Well, that's degeneracy. That's real degeneracy. If you're
to me,
buying a
that's
lot of
ridiculous.
tickets.
Yeah. I don't even like.
Yeah.
I'll play Keno, but I don't love playing Keno. Like when we're out, sometimes like my wife would be like, "Hey, let me play." I was like, "Yeah," and then I'm like, "This sucks because you have no control over this." You know what I'm
Put
saying?
that
Like,
on a parlay.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
rather just have something else. But yeah, I don't know how we got. But no, the guy who invented DFS is an absolute genius because it's literally gambling. Like that's literally, and they're like, "Oh, well, dude, you can't say that." You're like, yeah, but it is. You know, like that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. So like any state
Yeah.
that's like, "Oh, well, DFS is legal, sports betting's not." You're like,
Right.
you know that like that's just a parlay. Like that's
Yeah.
not a, like that's not.
No matter
fantasy.
what bureaucrats say to me, it's gambling, and it honestly, I would say, leads to more degeneracy because you're instead of, if you have an 8-game slate, you have 8 sides and totals. Now you have 300 different bets you can make between all the players in those games. So if anything, it leans closer to that than actual just like sides and totals and traditional gambling. So that, don't listen to the lawmakers, guys.
That's been my favorite thing is whoever, I don't even know how they did it, but however they did it, there are DFS sites now that are literally parlay sites. And you can bet parlay, and they're like, yeah, but it's not gambling. It's like, all right, guys.
It's called an entry slop. It's an entry, okay?
It's
That's
an entry.
that's so
It's
different.
not a parlay. I love it. Like, it sounds like I'm hating on it. I'm not. I'm saying I think whoever did that is an absolute genius. Like absolute genius because you can just do parlays every day if you're in a prison state that doesn't allow you to bet on sports, singly. So that's the long answer to I'm gonna do some DFS.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I think the narrative's shifting though. It's just like like legal weed. Now that weed is legal in a lot of states, I think a lot of people are taking that connotation off of it. I think legal gambling is happening the same way. When you have states like Texas and Florida that don't legalize gambling for like religious reasons or things like that, but they have DFS, it is hilarious. But one thing I know is we're in legal states and we are going to be betting sides, totals, props, DFS, whatever we can get on the books. So that's why we're here. Everybody in this chat is probably doing the same thing. So shout out to those lobbyists for making this stuff available to us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, they're amazing people doing heroes work. It's God's work, really. What else we got?
Any college basketball tonight?
I haven't been looking too much into college basketball yet. Tommy G seems to think that's the easiest sport in the world to bet. I kind of agree with him. All right, so hey, timeout. So Derek White just went from 16.5 to 17.5 at DraftKings. It just happened at FanDuel right before that. Now he's 17.5 at Ballybet. I'm kind of interested.
Early sign of Tatum.
What do these people know?
Mm-hmm. Tatum still game
Somebody
time
knows
decision.
something, dude. That's what's happening. Let's find first quarter. I might go in on that right now in this chat if you don't mind.
Yeah, grab it while you can. Chad, if you're listening right now, we may have spotted the early signs of Jason Tatum not playing tonight or being very limited with Derek White's line movement.
I think they play tomorrow night. And that's like, why would you play against the Hawks? With no Trae Young.
Yeah, they have Brooklyn tomorrow.
And they got Brooklyn tomorrow. That would give them a 3-day rest because they haven't played since the 10th. So that would mean that he's allowed to, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll pull up FanDuel. I think we got it here. Why am I on Dallas? Oh, I was looking up Clay. The only problem
and after tomorrow,
go ahead.
They don't play until Saturday. No, you go ahead.
The only problem with FanDuel is there's no like alts, and they only give you these. So We'll go Derek White for a unit over 3.5 points. I think he goes over that in the first quarter. I'm gonna send this to my DubClub people too. So
Yes, which is a great plug, guys. There's a free trial right underneath this stream. Go hop in his DubClub. Obviously, if there's somebody, you look at his setup, if he's shopping lines like this for you guys and finding first quarter Derek White props and finding money in the crumbs, this is a DubClub you need to obviously be in. Free trial, 3 days. Get in there. It's right underneath the stream. Do you like money or not? That's the question.
I do. I decided it's pretty good. I don't like the minus 104, but that's close enough for me. You know what I mean? I try to have them all plus. I don't like any minus. No minuses, bro.
Especially if his full game points are moving the other way and his first quarter hasn't. There may be a lag there, and you may be capturing something. I wouldn't be surprised if his full points go up. His first quarter might go up a point.
Yeah, those derivative lines are very very slow to move sometimes. Yeah, so I mean, we can just kind of see it there. I mean, I want to see what Bet Online bookmaker. That's a good one to be at 17. Looks like Bally's at 17.5. Bally's a slow one though. Bet
Mine's
Online.
showing Derek White minus 120 for first quarter over 3.5. So
Where?
it may have moved a little bit on FanDuel. May have just got a little bit of movement, or maybe that's me. It's bouncing back and forth. Something is definitely going down.
Somebody knows something, right? Yeah,
All
I would
right.
like to see that go up to 20. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, anyways, we'll keep an eye on it. You never know.
Is that one where you watch closely leading up to the game and you see, okay, he's, his line has moved up again. I'm going to look at even another guy on the bench now that the rotation's going to move a little bit more with Tatum, or do you just kind of sit with that one and go,
Well, the
I've already
problem with
secured my
this,
value?
What they're doing is we don't have bench guys. So we don't have a Pritchard. We don't have anybody like that right now, and that's your issue. So well, I guess what I'm saying is the way that they circumvent people doing what we're doing right here and just kind of watching the board is they won't give us the bench guys. So the first time you get a bench guy, there won't be a giant move based on this because they won't come out until they know.
Yeah.
But like I said, we don't know that Tatum's not playing, but I've been watching the NBA a long time.
And Derek, like you said earlier, taking guys that can hit regardless of the lineup, like Derek White, who's got the ball in his hands enough to do that. It's just hedging yourself. It's smart.
Exactly. Well, I mean, Jalen Johnson takes Tatum. Dyson Daniels takes Brown. I guess Drew Holiday could get worked, but I mean, I don't know. Like Derek White will be around. You would think.
They juiced all these defensive props. Yeah, there's nothing good here.
Do we have anything for Do we have any defensive props yet, I wonder?
On this game, yeah. I mean, there's 1+ steals, 2+ steals, and then blocks, but no combo that I can see.
Oh, and we don't have the guy Keaton.
Yeah, he hasn't popped up at all. But that's one I'm gonna watch. Keaton Wallace. Keep an eye out. Come close to the game. They might offer something. Although if the last time they played Boston, he had combined 6 blocks and steals, they may not give us anything, knowing that he embodies the early stage Orlando Magic teams.
Oh yeah. Well, if he starts, we'll get him. I'm pretty sure.
So.
I don't know. So I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I mean Dyson Daniels. I mean, that would be great if that kid goes on Holiday, Dyson Daniels goes on Brown, and Johnson goes to Tatum if he plays.
Did you say you were looking at Jalen Johnson double-double?
Yeah, it's just the number on that is disgusting.
Yeah, it's +110 as of now.
Yeah, it's just come on, guys. Like, give me 150. Give me like 200 on that. It's not like
When you look at a guy like
automatic, you know?
Yeah. I mean, when you look at a guy like Jaylen Brown, who, if Tatum doesn't play, is obviously going to have a much bigger role, maybe a little bit more distribution than normal. He's plus 550 right now. Is that a guy you take a flyer on early and hope that Tatum doesn't play and he's got the ball in a distributor standpoint a little bit more? Or
If you
no?
were gonna take him, you would do it. Yeah, before.
Yeah.
If you were going to, but I can't do that. I can't do that.
No.
He's just he's a scorer. He's a guy though that if you wanted to go here, where I was going right now was if you want to go first quarter on him, you could just go ahead and clip him right now. 5.5 is plus 104. It's 4.5 at both Caesars and ESPN. So the idea that FanDuel has it a point higher, I mean, obviously it's juiced, but that's not a bad look. He comes
As
back.
long as
in
they
later.
don't take away, the right and he has to go left, I think this is easy pickings.
Yeah, I mean, he can get you 6, but again, I don't love going up to 6. I like, dude, I can live in the 3.5 zone.
Yeah,
Just
2
live
buckets.
there. Yep, just score twice when we're doing. That's it. Also, too, I mean, it opens you up for threes and free throws. Well, let's keep looking, man.
Yeah, anything else in this Bucks Raptors game that stands out to you? This feels like, I mean, with no Dame and, coach just getting fired, that feels like one of those spots where things can get a little bit like weird, which is exactly where we want to be.
Yeah, you want weird. The problem here though is first quarter points. We've only got 3 guys listed. We got Giannis, Prince, and Brook Lopez, which is like, that sucks. I think it's Giannis triple-double night. Because, I mean, he's just going to do whatever he wants to do, and he's going to be distributing the ball. The idea that we don't have points for Giannis is absolutely insane. I mean, it is Toronto, but Toronto's been covering. I don't know if you pay attention to them. I know our producer Nigel he's been all over Toronto, and I mean, they do cover. In his defense, they cover. So, the reason why I bring that up is if they cover tonight, I mean, Giannis has a full slate, full complement of minutes without Dame, and that means, that means literally
Everything.
every category.
He's doing everything.
Every category.
And we're going to wake up tomorrow to an ESPN graphic where Giannis dropped 50 and like 20 rebounds and just an insane.
Something's happening because they took down his triple-double. 400 is the best you can get. He just got locked over here. What happened?
Wow.
Did we get news?
I'm looking. I don't see anything right now.
Let me find out. Check with the guys.
He was game time decision with his knee. But game time decisions in the NBA are almost meaningless.
That means he might not play.
Yeah.
They just took down, dude, there's no, hang on.
You can grab Brook Lopez double-double right now at plus 2,400. If Giannis doesn't play, that's actually in play.
All we've got is Bobby Portis. Actually, his points went up to 33, now 34. What the fuck? What happened? It was just 33 a minute ago. Now it's 35 plus. It's even money. They took down his triple-double everywhere. So why would his points be? We're about to get Giannis news or some type of news.
Or so, yeah, maybe one of their other guys like Bobby Portis or something not playing. Nothing on Underdog. Yeah, I'm sure we'll see something pop up soon.
Yeah, nothing came from Underdog either, right?
No.
I mean, if you're gonna play, I mean, I don't see how it's not a free for all. Yeah, so he had 32.5 a minute ago. at basically everywhere. It's 33.5 now. FanDuel just went back to 33.5 after being at 34.5 for a second. I don't know why his points would change. I don't know why they take down his triple double, because his triple double is obviously in play. It just came back up at 410 at Ballybet, which, I mean, that's definitely in play. You could do a nice little Clay 5+ threes, Giannis triple double.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like really, really get after it. Let's see what that would pay. Because you got to think he handles the ball. It's 330 at. That's the only problem at FanDuel. I forgot it's 410 at Bally.
Yeah.
That's super difficult. But I mean, little narrative parlay, you know. Yeah, it's only 16.20. It's not. I kind of want more than that for making a call like that.
Yeah, that's one that has to be juicy. There's no. And then his triple double just went away for me again.
Yeah, it's back up at DraftKings now at 390. So some news has had something just was confirmed. I bet you it's confirmed that he's playing.
What do you use for your news? Are you on Underdog NBA? I mean, that's typically why I look at it.
Yeah, that's everything. I'll one thing you can do is just search him up on Twitter, and sometimes you'll see a beat writer have it first.
Oh yeah. True.
But Underdog aggregates it really quick. So
yeah, they're awesome.
It's not, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if you're a PRA guy, I mean, this dude could legitimately, I mean, this guy could legitimately just really go off.
Let's see what his PRA is right now, if they offer it. You gonna give me a back, FanDuel? No. Yeah, it's 54.5 right now. Minus 110 on FanDuel.
Honestly, that's not that crazy.
He may score 55 points.
Yeah,
he may put that up in
points.
points.
Kind of low, dude. Like I would go 60 plus. Do they offer alt? Not yet, right?
No. No, not for Giannis, at least on FanDuel. Actually, yeah. Now you can get it at plus 1,100, 50 plus points. 40 plus is plus 220. That's a crazy line. That's a Luka line.
No, I'm saying points, rebounds, assist.
Oh, yeah, no alt combos that I'm seeing right now.
We should get alt combos later on. I mean, that feels like it's going to be just him. I mean, Portis is nice and all. Lopez is whatever. You know what I mean? But, like, I know it's the Raptors, but I think the Raptors can kind of hang. Just hang around, dude. Don't get your ass kicked that bad. Right?
I guess you could alt, his actual, like, 40 plus points, 12 plus rebounds, 10 plus assists, whatever. You could just go line by line that way since we're not getting alt combos. I mean, his 12 plus rebounds, minus 155. Ugh. 14 plus is only plus 150. Yeah, he's going to have an insane night. He's going to be doing everything.
Hey, I'm going to grab his game log last year without Lillard real quick. A couple years ago, his assists were like ridiculous whenever Drew Holiday didn't play. It would just take one of them, Middleton or Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
But then last year, I don't know how many times Dame did not play, and he did. You know what I mean? But I can get that really quick.
Yeah, and there's no Middleton tonight either. I mean, with both of those guys out,
he brings the ball
Trent
up.
Jr. might not play. And Toronto's missing. I mean, Scotty Barnes out sucks. I think Scotty Barnes might be a double-double guy this year for me. He's actually been really solid, crazy athlete. But he's out. Kelly Olynyk's out. Jacoby Walter's out. Is that Bruce Brown? Yeah, Bruce Brown out. Wow.
All right, hang on 1 second. 8 and 9. Yeah, the first time Dame missed last year, it was against Indiana. Giannis scored 54 points, went 54, 12, and 3. The next time, it was 2 days later against the Magic, 35, 10, and 7. So, yeah, he definitely shows up.
Wow.
37. So then the next time was against Utah. He kept it cool. He went 25, 10, and 11. So a little triple-double, no big deal. Played 38 minutes that night. So he did have a triple-double. And then 51 and 52. What were those games? The next time Dame sat, he went 34, 10, and 6. And then the next night, he went 17, 3, and 7. But that was against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They were one of the top defenses in the NBA last year. So that kind of makes sense that he wouldn't. Like, they'd be up for that, if that makes any sense. Then later on in the season against Washington, 35, 15, and 10. I mean,
Seeing a theme here.
Yep. I mean, it's just wow.
So what is the play here then? I mean, are you taking triple-double? Are you leaning into that, or are you going to ladder some of his?
Maybe you go assist. You can grab 36, 16, and 8 was another game. The game right before he went 35 and 15 and 10. I think
12 plus assists at plus 800 right now.
That's kind of a lot
assists.
of assists.
Yeah, plus 110 for 8.
What about rebounds? How high do you have to go? I mean, he grabbed 20 of them, dude. 16 is only 320. So they know that Giannis is good, I guess is what's happening here.
The books are catching on.
Huh.
Yeah.
So they're catching on, huh? They knew the whole time.
My sleeper play this season, Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis, my Giannis triple-double sleeper. Yeah, his triple-double's back everywhere. 475 at BetMGM, 500 at ESPN Bet. So I don't know.
Shop your lines, guys. Don't be a victim to FanDuel at plus 330. That's disgusting.
Yeah, you can't have 330. You can't have 330 and then have like your friends looking at you like you're an idiot because they got 500. That's a completely different bet at that point.
Yeah, you can't get alphaed by your friends like that. Shop your lines.
Yeah, that's the greatest way to get just literally clowned. Like how would you ever come back from that? But yeah, 500 at ESPN seems pretty sweet. Like a triple double is definitely in play. That's all I'm saying. It is 100% in play. Taurean Prince, catch and shoot guy. So that's a free assist there. Brook Lopez, same thing. I don't even know who else they have playing. What is Portis not playing as well or something?
His lines are up.
Yeah, his lines are up at FanDuel, which FanDuel's the only one I care about.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that if it's down there, then you don't know what's happening.
I mean, you also look at, you said catch and shoot guys. Does that ever make you look at threes when you have someone like Giannis where the only goal of the offense is to space the floor out, and you have Brook Lopez and Taurean Prince at 2+ made threes, minus 130 for both of them? Are those lines that you look at when you know they're going to have to open up the lane for him?
Maybe. I mean, dude, he's surrounded, like Gary Trent probably is going to be available tonight. He's another catch and shoot guy, although he has been ice cold to start the season. Trying to think who else is on this team. Andre Jackson, no. Oh, this AJ Green kid. Why not? Dude, there's nothing but shooters surrounding
Yeah.
him. So 8 assists.
Jan-
and that's your only play if you're Toronto is get the ball out of this guy's hands somehow. That's the only way you stay alive. Again, in Milwaukee, coach just got fired.
Yeah, if you can get shot attempts for Giannis, it sounds like. I mean, I know a lot of DFS offers those. This might be a night for it. It's going to be volume. Well, John, it's your birthday, dude. I mean, I'm sure you, other than Mexican, you got some other stuff going on. Do you have any plays, any parting words for the chat here before we hop off? This is a lot of information, a lot of good stuff.
No, just gamble, guys. If you have a bad day, just come back tomorrow. You'll be fine. It'll all work out probably. But yeah, you can't win your money back if you quit. So make sure you're doing the smart thing. What I always say to everybody is take what you have to gamble, like your bankroll, divide it by 100. That's your unit. So if you have $500 and that's your bankroll, guess what? You're a $5 a unit better. If you follow that, just bet 1 unit per game, you're going to be fine. You know what I'm saying? You go on a 10-game losing streak, you have 90% of your bankroll left. You're not homeless, you're not turning tricks, you're just ready to bet again. But if you don't do that, if you don't manage your bankroll, then you're done. Like, you might as well just take that money and set it on fire right now because it's over. I'll tell you right now, it will only lead to you losing all of it. And I hate to say that, but that's a fact. So manage your bankroll. That's why I make jokes about gambling all the time and quitting all that, because like I manage my bankroll. So I'm gonna be fine, dude. You know what I'm saying? There's no way they can get me. It's gonna take them so long to take 100 units from me. And everyone else is pretty much the same.
Yeah, you add that to chopping your lines, getting CLV, getting value on these plays, and we're looking at profit. And Slop is very well known for his parlays, but obviously if you look at his picket, the dude is super consistent and a winning bettor. So subscribe to his DubClub. There's a free trial right underneath the tweet. Go hit it up. Go get in there for the next couple of days. Obviously a ton of action for a lot of sports. It'll get you into Thursday night football. Slop, happy birthday, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, brother. I'll talk to you next week, man.
Yeah, see ya.
Later.